For practice problem number 1, we're told that a tank of water was drained at a constant rate. That constant rate's important, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. And it says this table that we see here shows the number of gallons of water left in the tank after being drained for 2 different amounts of time. So we see after 10 minutes of draining, there was 450 gallons, and then after 30 minutes of draining, we have 330 gallons. Part A and Part B, which we'll preview before looking at this table, say what is the rate at which the water was drained from the tank, and what was the total amount of water in the tank before any of the draining started. So we'll focus on Part A first. What is the rate at which the water was drained from the tank? We're going to take a look at the whiteboard. We want to know the rate. This is really asking about slope or the rate of change. So if I have these 2 data points, I can measure how much the water changes by each minute, or in this case, after 20 minutes. So from 10 minutes to 30 minutes, we added 20 minutes of time. And during those 20 minutes of time, we went from 450 to 330 gallons. We lost 120 gallons. So we go from 450 to 330, that's down by 120. So we lost 120 gallons of water from the pool during a 20-minute interval. So if we're thinking about slope, our rate of change here, we have lost 120 gallons, and it took us 20 minutes to do that. We could simplify that ratio. 120 divided by 20 tells us that at the end of the day, we're losing 6 gallons every 1 minute. 12 divided by 2 is 6, so 120 divided by 2 is also going to be 6 over 1. So when we simplify this ratio, our slope, or our unit rate of change for this real-world table, is lose 6 gallons every 1 minute. That's how I know that answer choice A is the correct answer for Part A. That's the rate that the water is drained at, 6 gallons per minute. Now as we focus on Part B, Part B says what was the total amount of water in the tank before it was drained, and we have 4 answer choices again. But the total amount of water in the tank before it was drained, we're really asking about what was the amount of water in the tank with 0 minutes of draining at the beginning. So I really want to think in my table at 0 minutes, how much water was going to be in there. And I know that this is losing 6 gallons every minute. So 10 minutes in, we would have lost 60 gallons. 10 minutes times 6 gallons per minute. We're doing 60 gallons every 10 minutes. So if I'm going to go back in time by 10 minutes, if we lose 10 minutes of time, that means we have to gain 60 gallons because back in time we had more water in the pool. We had 60 gallons more 10 minutes ago. So if we add 60 to 450, we recognize that there must have been 510 gallons of water in this pool before we started draining it if we end up at 450 10 minutes in. So that's how I recognize that B is the correct answer for this problem, for Part B of practice problem 1. Part B is definitely a challenging problem. Let me, Ms. Stewart, Mr. Chu know if you've got questions on how we kind of worked out the answer to Part B there.